Hello, hello. Going live today. Nanu, Nanu. Change your life, change your friends. What's a good friend to you? How many do you have? Friends. How many of us have them? Friends, right? So I think this is a really interesting topic because it's overlooked because a lot of times we're depressed, we're sad when we're in a breakup, we feel bad about things, we feel bad about our lives, and we start taking inventory. We maybe look at our job, we maybe look at some family ties, reuniting with some people, and we always, when things are bad and you're sad, you start to really uh, look at different parts of your life, and I think this might be one that's overlooked sometimes because friends have a huge effect on your happiness. They have a huge effect on your growth, and it really counts the circles you're putting yourself in. And I didn't really fully realize this till my 30s, I think. And I'm still cognizant of it, and I still lose sight of it because I'm a friendly person. I'm outgoing, and I go out of my way for people. And so sometimes when you do that, and I've met a lot of people like that that have done live coachings, and when you're someone that's a giver and you like to do things for people, sometimes you start keeping a scorecard and you're like, wow, this is a lot of one-way traffic here. I did this, this, and this for this person, and they haven't done nothing for me. And when you get to that point, you have to ask yourself, you got to go, wait a minute, I'm not doing this for points. I'm not doing this to please other people. I'm just doing this because it's my pleasure, because that's who I am and that's what I do. But it can become exhausting when you have a friend that's a bit of a vampire on your energy, or a friend that, like I said, you're constantly doing nice things or going out of your way or helping them out, but it just seems like it doesn't come back to you. And this can get old. Yeah, you actually can be resentful if you keep a scorecard. But I do think it's natural because human beings, a lot of times we're reciprocal. And so if you're someone that I've noticed things that I do on the channel with this YouTube channel that in the past, and once in a while, someone will have a really heartfelt story and they're really going through it. And I've talked to them for 30 minutes and said, you know what, I understand you don't have money because of your situation and whatnot. And a lot of times they're like, look, I can't pay you, but is there something else I can do for you? I think there was someone that was a musician and he said, oh, I'll make a track for one of your videos or this or that. Because when someone goes out of their way for you, it's most humans would say, oh, they did something for me. I should maybe do something for them. But if you're leading in that way, it can be dangerous. But the answer is, what kind of friends do you have? Because people will hang out with opposites because they offset. If two people are really selfish, they don't usually hang out together because they just don't get along. I've had friends like that where I'm like this. I've had a couple of friends that have selfish tendencies, and if you put them in the same room, they immediately just don't fucking like each other because they look at it like, well, this guy's selfish, right? And they get into it, and you're like, why don't they like each other? What's the deal? And I'm like, oh shit, they're a little bit too much alike, and both of them don't offset their bad qualities, and they're both stubborn, and that's why opposites attract with friends too. And that's why when you have really good friends, the other way that you have really good friends is just like family. You grew up on the same block, or you went to the same couple of elementary schools or middle schools, and then over time and familiarity, you've been through so much over time that your bond, your trust, your connection's really high. And those friends are timeless, right? Because if you known someone since you were 10, you know someone since you were 15, it's just different. It's a different connection. And you let those kind of friends have more rope, and you let those kind of friends have a line to you whenever they want to, call you up. So it's a good question to ask, what's a good friend to you? And for the people making the comments, please continue. I'm going to get a little deeper into this, and then I'll come back to the comments. But how many do you have that are a good friend? It's a good question, and me bringing it up, I'm going to take my own inventory of my ring of friends, because I have a lot of acquaintances. I have a lot of people that I've met through this coaching thing. I have people on the live stream that I care about, and that now I've developed, a cyber relationship with, I guess you'd say. But how many close friends that actually influence some of your behavior, some of the way you look at things. And I would say some of the people in the live stream, like G Money, who's been here for a long time, some of the comments resonate with me. And I go, wow, okay, this person or this comment, that's really good. It's highly supportive and we're on the same page, right? So let me get into this for a little bit. Take a good look at your friends. Family, we don't have a choice. Okay. And I think some people will find this a little bit funny, but you know, when we grew up in a family, we have parents, we possibly have brothers and sisters, uncles and aunts, grandparents, and we don't really have a choice coming in, right? And so that's where we get this unconditional love. Or you might have a brother or a sister that's not the best person, or a cousin or what have you, but you love them and you care about them because you've known them since you were born, and you allow them to maybe get away with more things, or you allow them to invade your positive energy sometimes more often. And I understand where you're coming from. When it's family, it's more difficult to just go, I'm never going to talk to this person again. But it happens, right? There's a lot of rifts in families where people are like, oh, I'm going to never talk to this individual. I have some family members now, not members, one in particular that doesn't talk to me. And I don't agree with the reason. So I'm not going to sit there and apologize and go through it, but it's tough because it's your family member. I've known him since I was a kid and we were very close. But with friends, I think you can break the tie a little bit quicker, especially if you haven't been friends as long. You can identify it. And then you can go, wait a minute. So here's some questions to ask yourself. I think they're good questions. And I'm going to go through this myself on my own with a journal and kind of unpack some things for myself after I get done with this live stream or later on today, because I think it's a good topic. We take inventory of our finances. We obviously take inventory of what our ex did. That's the number one thing when you get in a breakup, is that you constantly look at what they did. And when you get to the other side of the mountain, you got to look at what you did and where you're at in life as an individual right now. It's time to take a serious inventory of everything. And so the friends area, you are the average of the 5 friends you hang out with the most or spend the most time with. And I would include now with the internet, okay? If you come on my live stream every day, or you watch a lot of videos from me for a period of time, that's going to influence you in your top 5, because a daily check-in or a daily hour. And I think it's a good thing, because before, friends were just proximity. They lived with you, they lived close by, or they worked with you, or they went to the same university. But now with the internet, you can actually find mentors online or coaches and be a part of their influence, and they can help you and you can help them in a lot of ways. And that's a really cool thing that wasn't there before. So you can overcome the fact that you live in an area where it's really hard to meet like-minded people, or your current group of friends at work aren't really the best. So here's the questions to ask. Number 1, this sounds simple, but are you asking this question? Do they support you? You have a job that you like and they tell you, oh, you should be making more money. I've seen this many times before, where someone values, making money over making a difference. And someone's a preschool teacher and the other guy's a lawyer who seems miserable, uptight, and angry all the time. And he'd go to the preschool teacher and go, what the hell are you doing? This is ridiculous. You only make 30 or 40 grand a year, something like that. That's a total lack of support. That's a total lack of understanding. And if that person's your friend, you might not just cut them off, but you might just go, you know what? I'm just not going to contact them anymore because it's just poisonous. Do they help you? If they have the opportunity to help you out with something, do they help you? I've identified this recently. There's, my really good friends, if I need to ask a question or I need to ask help, it's not even a fucking question, right? It's not even a fucking question. But other people, other individuals, and this term narcissism has been thrown around quite a bit now, or highly selfish individuals, before they help you, they got to figure out what's in it for them. They got to well, you know what? yeah, you got a flat tire. Oh, you know what? I wasn't planning on going over there today. They come up with 4 or 5 excuses. But if you tell them, hey, dude, I'm going to buy you lunch and I'll get you back, you have to somehow put something in it for them. A lot of people are like this. Some are worse than others. And these kind of people, they'll drain you. They'll exhaust you, and they can be charming and they can be manipulative, and you got to identify them and cut them out of your friend zone or your friend's area. Are you on equal ground? This is kind of big and overlooked with your friends. And again, I probably haven't realized this till I was in my 30s, but where you're at in your life, professionally, your job, fitness wise, are you on equal ground? I don't necessarily you don't need to be exactly equal. But people that aren't in a really good place health wise, I've been around people. Now I tend to like to eat at healthy restaurants. I like to eat healthy food. Am I perfect? No. But I never used to like salad before and different things like this. I'll actually go into a vegan restaurant, which probably 5 or 10 years ago, I wouldn't even, if someone asked me to go in there, I'd be like, what the hell are we doing here? And now I find value in eating healthy food. And if I'm around someone else like that, all they want to do is tell you, oh, this is all they make some comments about how like, oh, healthy food's gross and you've changed so much and this and that. And it's like, do I need to argue that healthy food's a good thing? I mean, even if you don't like eating salad and fruits and vegetables, as your friend, you should think, oh, good for you, Mac. Like, good for you, man, that you're eating well and you're doing well with that. That's actually a solid thing. And that has to do with being on equal ground in a lot of places. And like I said, it doesn't have to be 100% equal. And the same thing applies a lot of times. If a friend's constantly down and out on money and you're doing well, they tend to resent you. They tend to find ways to break you down because they want to bring you down to your level. It doesn't happen all the time because some people can have a period in their life where they lost their job or, something happened. But if they're always like this and you're doing really well and they resent you, you're going to have to cut anchor because they're going to try to bring you down. It's like crabs in a bucket. So next question, are you always going out of your way to please them? I've dealt with this before because, and I didn't realize it, but friends like this that are narcissistic or manipulative, you got them a job, then you got them another job. What I mean by that, you recommended them, and then you did this for them, and then you did that for them. You let them borrow your laptop computer because their computer wasn't working, and then instead of them coming back to your house and returning the computer, you call them up 3 days later, and you're like, "Hey, do you still need that computer?" And they go, "Oh yeah, you could just pick it up at my house." Little things like that are red flags because it's like, why wouldn't you just drop it back to me? I did you a favor by letting you borrow my computer, and you're telling me to come pick it up and that you're done with it and you've been done with it for a couple of days and you didn't have the courtesy to even call me up. These kinds of friends over time, you have to identify this because they will drain you. Do they help you grow? Are they interested in helping you grow? And not just from a place of what their benefit is in it. Would they pick you up at the airport in the middle of the night? So the reason I threw this one in is I just recently had a situation where I was flying into SFO in San Francisco, and my mother lives, I don't know, 3.5 hours from the airport. I call up my mom. I'm saying, "Hey, Mom, I'm here. I'm just getting my baggage." And I think it was like 10:30 at night. My mom goes, "What? I thought you were flying in tomorrow." She got the time zones mixed up. And I'm like, in the past, I would have been all stressed out. I said, "Wait a minute. Hold on. I got one friend in mind that lives close by that I know I could call." And this is the crazy thing. I got more friends than that, right? But the one that would actually call, come and pick me up and not question it or not answer their phone. I'm like, let me call up Tone and let me see. And he's tired. He lives about 30, 40 minutes away. I'm like, look, can you pick me up? Da, da, da. He's like, yeah, I'll come pick you up. No problem. And I just knew I could count on him. Right. And I knew it wasn't going to be out of a place of like, hey, can you give me some money or this or that? And of course, I was like, dude, let me buy you breakfast tomorrow and this and that. But I knew he didn't do it for that reason. He was tired. He had work in the morning. But this is a friend that he just wouldn't hesitate to do it. Right. And he wouldn't make excuses or anything like that. And so, and this is one of my really, really good friends. Do they always, are they always looking at what's in it for them? I kind of already mentioned this, but this is a big one. This is a big one. This is a sign of a selfish individual. And like I said, it can drain you, especially if you're giving, especially if you're outgoing. I get a lot of coaching sessions with people that are nurses or teachers, probably identify with some of the material I have on YouTube. And they're constantly having relationships or places with relationships where they have the short end of the stick because they're always giving. And over time, you want to be in a place where you're like, oh, this person gave me some knowledge. They actually recommended a good book to me, or they called you up and said, like, you're doing a really good job. How do they make you feel? This is huge. This has to do with your relationships too. Do they give you a compliment from time to time? Like the friend I just mentioned about the airport, this is an individual, is not rich or highly successful or any of these things. He's doing okay for himself. He takes care of himself. He checked out my channel, and again, the channel is for people in breakups most of the time, right? Or the live streams and different things. And he's popped in on the live stream a few times, and he just went, dude, I'm so happy for you, bro. This is your thing. You seem to be doing really well with it. And he just dropped a message out of the blue and just gave me a compliment. That's like a caring, good friend that's happy for you when you're doing well. And I was just around my niece recently, and she had a couple of friends around, and I could just feel this, all of, in this little triangle group while they were talking. And now that I do the work that I do and stuff, I really notice body language and energy and the way people act. And you could just tell anyone that had good news, the other person's face would just be like jealous, or, oh yeah, that's good, but this, oh yeah, that's good, but this. And those are people, like I said, they'll exhaust you, they'll drain you, they're not good friends. And so I've talked about this before, the documentary, The Defiant Ones with Dr. Dre, the rapper, and it talks about NWA and these other things. What really stood out to me about Dr. Dre and his journey and his career, and in this documentary, is he had 3 or 4 different times where he cut anchor with bad situations with people that didn't line up with his values at work. And it wasn't just business. It was deeper. It was way deeper than that. And he left behind money. He left behind what at the time were good friends, but they didn't line up with his values, and he wouldn't sacrifice that. And I thought that was impressive to me. And he would restart a new venture or a new project with confidence. And he literally was leaving like millions of dollars on the table. And if you guys follow like those Beats headphones that are so popular that he's behind and he's made all this money, well, the person that came up really with that idea was his best friend and business manager. And the fact that his business manager always had his best interest, always had his back, always was there for him. This is the person that ended up, helping him with one of his biggest ventures over time. And he talks about it in the movie. And this guy that's his business partner or business manager, you'd think by seeing him that, he'd be hanging out with Snoop Dogg or some of these other people. And I'm sure they're friends. But in actuality, his best friend was his business manager. And this is really what's helped him grow, not just as a musician, but as an entrepreneur. So the other thing, I've talked about this many, many times, if you're having some issues and you have some dark clouds over your environment or your friends, then you should move. You should really think about moving to a new city or a new area. And I'm not going to exhaust this, but I'll just mention, I when I grew up in the Bay Area, in the San Francisco Bay Area, nice place, and I moved down to San Diego and it's like 20 or 19 or 20 years old. It was a total culture shock. It was totally different. It's like, oh, it's California. No, Southern California is different. The people were different. I found living by the beach, people were more friendly, more outgoing, more laid back. And the connections I made were much different. People were less contentious. And it was just, it suited me right off the bat. And I just made some good friends that had different styles and they were different people. So if you're in an area where you're like, all my friends are this and all in this, there's a collective subconscious in every area you live in, and you can do that when you move. And pick a city you like and pick a city you're excited about. Be close to nature. Ways to meet better friends. Number one, change your environment. Okay. That could be changing cities. That could be changing apartments. Your neighbors count, folks. Your neighbors count big time. Your roommates count. So if you're having trouble with your friends, change your environment. Number two, stop complaining about your friends. Just stop hanging out with them. I've had this before where I just complain. This was in my 20s. Like, this individual does this. And now recently I'm just like, just stop hanging out with them, right? Just, you don't need to go, I'm never going to be your friend again, or you're not invited to my birthday. That would be a little kid shit. But you could say, like, you know what? I'm just not going to go out of my way to, meet up with them anymore. Number three, put yourself in classes with groups that hold good values. So this is something that's really interesting. If you can learn a new language, if you can learn a new music instrument, and you can learn it in a group, and you have a high interest in that, martial arts, Mr. G Money, any of these things that you have a slight interest in, these are really, like, some of my best friends currently. I was in a teacher training program in Thailand, and we were all from different countries. And one of my best friends, and they're different age, he's from Wales, totally different backgrounds, totally different backgrounds. We probably wouldn't have came in contact with each other if we were not in that class. And we've been good friends for 10 years now. Best of friends. Count on them for anything. And what I'm saying is that you form a bond when you take a class together, because you're learning something together and you have some kind of shared interest, and then you're also growing together. So in that process, you really get a good bond. And that's why your high school friends are really close to you. Okay. Because you had the same schedules, the same values at the time that you were building that friendship. Number four, live somewhere with a good collective unconscious. I talked about this. What this means is, we talk about culture. There's subcultures in different communities. So like when I moved to San Diego by the beach, the subculture might be a surf culture, or people skateboarding, or, some areas say they have a quote unquote coffee culture or bohemian culture. Some areas, Palo Alto near Stanford, which is one of the top universities in the States. The subculture over there is startup companies. Education is paramount. So you have to really look at these things. Be open to hanging out with new people. Sounds simple. I don't know if everyone does it, though. Put yourself out there a bit. Identify the friends you would like to meet. Like, what type of friend you'd like to meet. What are your top 5 values? And really think about this. This is something you don't think about often. What are my top 5 values? Write them out. And then when you meet new friends or new people, ask yourself, are these people sharing some of these values? Be friendly, not desperate. Okay. When you meet new people, if you have some common ground or something, but I've also met some people living in different places where you're just like, wow, it's almost like the clingy girl that you're dating or something like that. There's friends that are like that are a little too forward. It's like you just met them and they're like, hey, come over to my house. Did you want to come over to my house to watch a movie? And I'm like, we just met. I'd rather just talk in the coffee shop for a little bit than, like, where are we taking this? And then they're calling you every day that week. If you're in a place like that and you're desperate for friends, you need to kind of slam the brakes a little bit and reassess your style, because you can be turning off people to that. Because sometimes people are like, oh, I just don't make friends. It's probably your approach. Think what you could do for them. So how to win friends and influence people. In what way can, you meet someone that's really cool. You guys start a friendship. And I'm not saying to buy them anything or do anything, again, out of neediness. But if you can do something nice for them, that's a big deal. All right. So hopefully we got some people on deck. 5. Sweet. Jersey girl, welcome. I don't know if you've been on before, but if you haven't, welcome. So a lot to unpack there. I went 23, 24 minutes, but hopefully you guys know each other and we can unpack some more. G Money's always dropping wisdom. So, let's see here. If you keep a scorecard, you will be resentful. That is absolutely true. Be mindful of it. But when I start to notice it, I'll say something. If they stay that way, I cut them off. Good for you, hon. If you're the type of person that's really giving and outgoing, I'm one of those people. I don't know why, but I've always been one that I always get my friends a job wherever I'm working. If my friend's out of work or something, I'm like, I'll get you a job over there. or you need a ride, or you need this. And like I said, you need to be mindful if you don't want to keep a scorecard, but at the same time, you don't want to be in a position where you're like, now they're taking my kindness for a weakness. I have two friends that I've had for almost 10 years. There used to be their third bro, but him and I had an irreconcilable difference. That's one of those words you can't say fast. It happens, bud. It happens. At this point, we have been through so much together. It seems like why would we never not be friends? Why rock the boat? Well, good for you, man. That's outstanding that you have two friends for 10 years. That's an achievement. And that's a reflection of you as a friend also. You know, if you, when you're in someone I was just talking to a couple days ago or yesterday had a 20-year marriage. He's like, I'm not good in relationships. I'm like, 20 years in the 21st century in a marriage is a fucking achievement, dude. Even if it wasn't good at the end, you did something right to stay married that long. And you made some sacrifices. And if you've been good friends for 10 years, you've been a good friend to them. I don't think a person, you don't have enough energy to connect with a huge amount of people. I agree, G Money, gospel. I think this idea on social media of being connected with so many people, and it's something I'm fighting a little bit now with the live stream and, you know, getting into social media, because I don't know if I have enough energy and time to get on a Facebook account and intermingle and take all that content that comes. You go on Facebook, I mean, and you scroll down for 5 minutes. There's just so much information and content, and it'll hook you. And you got to choose where you want to put that energy. I think with friends, it's quality over quantity for me. Absolutely. Blood don't make you family. Loyalty does. Good point, Mary. That's hard though. It's still hard, right? It's still hard if you have, you know, someone that's your blood and there's a rift there and you've known each other. I take that as a compliment to me and the group that we've created here. Your friends don't really want to hear about all your problems every day, no matter how much they love you. I tell people in the live coaching is I'm like, they'll be like, oh, I've been telling my friends. And I'm like, you're better off talking to me or talking to a few different people or identifying one friend that actually feedback in the 21st century with the phone. I'm sitting there listening to someone I had an hour and a half coaching session. Then I had an hour and about 15 minutes back to back. And like I said, in some ways, I enjoy it. I like being there for people. I like listening to what's going on and giving feedback and doing those kinds of things. Most of your friends, that's not their lane. They don't enjoy it in any way. And instead of listening, they're probably going to give you some kind of negative feedback, or they're just going to project their own situation onto you. And so whatever their belief is, they'll just be like, well, this is how it is, instead of actually listening to you. And if you notice, people that you really like over time are good teachers or good coaches, they're good listeners. They're not rah-rah. They're not always telling you exactly what to do. They listen to you and then give you information. I love Zaxby's Cobb salad without the bacon, though. Good for you. I don't know where that is. Dylan, what's up, my dude? Dylan the dude. But I love Popeye's fried chicken, too. No, I just don't eat fast food. I guess some places would be considered fast food that I go to, but a long time ago, I just stopped. When I was about 18, 17, I got acne late. You know, a lot of people get like acne and pimples when they're 12 or 13. I was a little late to the party. I was a late bloomer. It's like 17, 18, I was getting all this acne. And even my mother was telling me, God, honey, like your skin looks horrible. And you know, when your mom says it to you, you're like, oh shit. Like mom said that to me. And I remember going to like a dermatologist and they were like, don't drink soda. And that always stuck with me, like Coca-Cola and stuff. I don't drink soda at all. I drink soda water. And fast food was another one, which I wasn't huge on because I always grew up eating at home a lot. And now I'll go have fast food and it's just, I don't feel good after I eat it. But we all have our guilty pleasures. I understand. My point was, let's say your friend's into healthy food and you're into Popeye's chicken and you guys are going to lunch together and you're like Popeye's and I'm like, oh, let's go to this salad place. And so you got to negotiate something in that situation. And instead of your friend going, you know what? And then they start reaming you or giving you shit like, oh, you just always think you're healthy or you're this. That's a friend that doesn't really line up. They should be like, oh, that's good I wish I was more healthy, because it's a good thing for you, right? Um, Good morning. Good morning. Oh my God, you're describing this friend I cut off 2 months ago. It's crazy. Sometimes when you're in the movie, you don't know what you're doing, right? Like if your life's a movie, you're like, damn, I didn't see all the dots connected about this friend draining me. Jersey girl. Hey, Mary. Oh, it's Jenna. Okay, no problem. Everyone always changes their name. Cool. Decided it's time for a change. No worries. Cool. Changing their identity online. So easy, huh? Oh God. What's a good friend? Someone who doesn't betray me like a lot of others have done. Someone who I can talk to and who will never tell anyone my personal stuff. So this is interesting. I haven't had a lot of betrayal with friends in my time that I was like, oh, I'm so betrayed. I've had some moments, right? But if you have the idea that they did it to you, you got to reframe that and go, what was my role? It's not like you went out going, oh, I hope friends betray me, but something in your filter didn't allow you to identify this person's, a snake in the grass, or this person's this. Obviously, some people can trick you, but if they do it repeatedly, that's on you. And what you need to do, take from those betrayals is be more mindful of your role, or maybe you're being a little naive at times or whatnot. But if you were friends with them for a year or 2 years, and you're like, all they did is betray me over and over again. Well, why didn't you identify the first couple times? Well, this person is telling me who they are, and I should, cut anchor and maybe start hanging out with some other people. And I know that's difficult, but that's a place of growth. Definitely trust, loyalty, and effort makes a good friend. Good point. I didn't know. I like the word effort. I didn't use that word. I think loyalty goes without saying. Um, Good word. Agree with you, or should I say golf culture? I'm sure. Yeah, if that's your thing, I think a lot of people like golf. I've never been a big fan of golf. It's just not my sport. I've went and played it twice, and I think my first couple experiences with it, I just didn't like it. And I'm very hand-eye coordinated. I can hit a ball. I can catch. I've been like that since I was a little kid. That doesn't mean I'm great at every sport I play, but I can walk on and kind of do some things immediately, right? It's like I like to go play frisbee or disc, throw the disc at the beach. And there's some people you go like, I got a friend, he's like, oh yeah, and you're like, and he's like, ooh, like it's just bouncing off his hands, and you're like, it's just not coordinated. You know what I mean? And not everyone's hand-eye coordinated. And so a lot of sports are difficult for them. I don't know if that's developed or that's natural or a combination of both, but I went on the golf course and I just couldn't hit the ball square on in the beginning. And I had no real, I was with some other people and I'm like, damn, this is the first time I've been in a sport where I'm like, I'm really, really bad. Like I can't even play. And I think what I assumed was it was just so easy. And the other part of it is it's a game that you're playing yourself in a lot of ways, right? I played a lot of team sports when I was younger, so that kind of motivates you. But I think as you get older, golf is really attractive because you can have a conversation, right? And you can do business and you can talk about life and things like that. The other part of golf is it's highly expensive, right? So if you're really into it, that's great. But a true friend gives you the benefit of the doubt. I lost a friend because we had different views on things. And instead of wanting to find common ground, he said I was a bad person. Yeah, that's limited thinking. And you're better off, G Money, if you were willing to meet them halfway or have a adult conversation about it, and they still were dug in. That's a person that's that's going to hold you back, and it's tough, it's hard, and I've had that like recently in a couple places, and you got to be true to yourself, man. It's hard. People that get famous say they really go through this because a lot of people get resentful of them being famous or having a lot of money. People aren't always happy for you when you're doing well. Broccoli Rod, what's up, brother? I didn't know he was Broccoli Rob. What's up, Rob? Always on deck. What's up, Rob? I'm good. I'm having the best day. Fuck, good for you, Rob. Wish I could say the same. Well, are you going to share or are you going to leave us on a cliff here? I'm downtown at the Shangri-La. Shangri-La again? What's this all about, the Shangri-La? They actually have a Shangri-La in Chiang Mai, Thailand. I'm good, holding it down, making money. Well, making money. Are you going to leave? How are you making money? You are always out and about everywhere. Good for you. I know it's just my nature. I love doing things every day. Well, that's good. Better to do things than not do things. Whatever makes you happy. That's a call adult. That's call adult acne. Why? Because I was 17 or 18. I think it was late puberty, probably. Someone just asked me that recently. What's your guilty pleasure? I said probably NBA gossip about basketball. And I'm cutting back on that because I love NBA basketball. I love the Warriors. And now the NBA has turned into a sideshow where you're like, oh, so-and-so quit the team, like Carmelo Anthony, who's Mary, you might not know about the NBA that much, but they're getting more personal. They're digging up dirt on different people. And I don't like it, but then I'll look at it, on my online. That's probably one of the few things I follow because I don't really watch the news. Another guilty pleasure. I'm trying to think. Someone else asked me that before too. I like dark chocolate, but I think dark chocolate's actually good for you. I have to think about that for a moment. But that would be the one that comes up for me is the basketball, not just following basketball, but the gossip side of it, getting caught up in that. Because it's one of those things, it's not really useful. And you're just talking. I've even thought about like I would like to do a channel about it. And then I'm like, no. I gave up soda in 26. Soda's Coca-Cola in that. I mean, that stuff's not good for you. Do you know that you can take rust off of steel with a rag and Coca-Cola? You can clean your toilet with it and stuff. I mean, it's just there's a lot of sugar in there. It's bad for your teeth. And actually, when I stopped drinking soda or soft drinks and just having soda water, like seltzer water, I like it much better. I just like the seltzer water. I like the ability to burp, I guess. Good for you, Rob. And it's one of those things I'm not like, someone will be like, oh, you want a Coke? I'm like, no, I'll have a soda or a water or a juice. I used to like a Red Bull here and there before I used to play sports, but Red Bulls are a little too up. I guess coffee. I'll have 1 or 2 coffees a day, but never over 2. Actually, usually it's only 1. I'm not going to say I've never had a soda or one of those drinks since 20 years ago, but I probably have 1 or 2 a year. And maybe it's when, if I have a cocktail or something like that, if someone buys me a drink or something like that, but I usually don't drink those either. Am I the only one still drinking soda? Mary, it starts today. Look into the unhealthy habits of soda. I'm not judging you, but I like the 0 calories Monsters, the white can. Okay. Yeah, I try those Monsters as well. I like the blue can. Tons of people drink soda still. I have a family friend where all he drinks is Diet Coke. He seriously thinks water tastes nasty. I wonder how he lives this long. There's a lot of people from my father's. My father's 72, 71. He just had his birthday. I should know this. Mom's 5 years younger. 70 or 71, my dad is. And he loves his soda. I think people from that age group, a lot of them like soda pop, as they say sometimes. When I was a kid, I think my favorite was root beer floats, and root beer and cream soda. I used to like cream soda too. A&W cream soda. And actually, my favorite soda is probably ginger ale. If I'm on a flight, I'll always ask for a ginger ale, and I swear to God, it's maybe 70% of the time someone goes, "They have ginger ale? Yeah, I'll have a ginger ale too," because it says it's something about it that's good for your stomach, which really isn't true, but it's just refreshing. You live in golf culture, that's why. Like, you literally golf, or there's a lot of golfers around you. I live in a farm country on a horse farm. That's really cool. That's really cool. This is what's really cool about the internet now and live streams like this and connecting with different people. And I have a friend that likes to constantly go out to eat, and I can't do it anymore, but I'll go and just order water. I'm sure they love that. Why can't you go out to eat with them? Because they're eating too much? And this is what's hard when you have a friend like that. You know, you have a friend that uh, it sounds trite or shallow, like you're like, oh, they just eat extremely unhealthy. I had a friend visit me 3 or 4 years ago, and he's quite heavy, and he's got some bad eating habits. And like, you go out to eat, and I can eat and stuff like that. And the thing is when you start eating healthier, you one thing about the States that's really different is we don't realize that we're all about portions. We are value based on portions. So if we don't have a huge portion, we think it's bad value. And the reality is it's like it's too much food, and it's not good for you to be that full all the time. But this friend of mine, it'd be like he'd get a sandwich and then he'd get a pizza on the side. And me just being with him, of course, like I'd eat my food and then I'll have a couple pieces of pizza, and that. And I literally, I don't watch. It's not like I'm like, oh, I need to watch my weight or anything. But literally, I gained weight when he left significantly. And after we ate, I would be full everywhere because he'd always buy. I'm not a big French fry person either. I just don't feel good after I eat them. I like if I'm gonna have sweet potato fries. That's a little bit better. But anyways, my point is hanging out with that friend who's a good friend. You just can't help it, you know. But never take a lesson farm country in Jersey. I still drink soda, pretty much Coke. I get a sugar rush. Well, good for you. Fine. My favorite soda is see where these live streams go. Oh my God. Cherry vanilla. It's all good. Shangri-La is about a 5 to 7 minute walk from my place. All right. Never heard of that. Pepsi. What's like? I drink bottled water, 1 bottle of diet green tea. One thing I'm lucky to get is coconut water. It's prevalent here and cheap, like in a coconut. But I like beetroot juice a lot. If anything that has beetroot, that gives me an energy rush. If you get a fresh juice with like beetroot and ginger and some of these other things. Gossip does sell. Oh yeah, they have Pepsi, just not the cherry vanilla. I only drink Pepsi once or twice as it gives a real okay. Seltzer water is gross. I drink soda water all the time. Perrier's nasty to me. People love the La Croix stuff. I just read just regular soda water. It's funny. I've had friends. I had a roommate one time and he was like, that's gross. And then he got hooked on it too. You throw a lime in it and you put it on ice. It's refreshing. That's the key. You got to drink it with ice. It's got to be cold. And if you want a little bit of flavor, throw some lime in it. The idea of Perrier, because it's just expensive. They're all soda waters. They're all seltzer waters. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Verner's ginger ale I've had. That's Michigan people, dude. People from Michigan like their Verner's ginger ale. Yeah, that's when I was a kid. My grandfather like sat me down. He always had Canada Dry, the little bottles in a fridge in the garage, and he was like, "If you're gonna drink soda, you always want to have ginger ale," and it always stuck with me. And my nephew now, whenever he goes out or something, gets a ginger ale, and I was like, "Did it?" He's like, "Yeah, you introduced me to that." Yeah, that's what I'll. It's Hilton Head Island at the end of the month. I cannot wait to be down in Palmetto State. Red Bull has their own cola. Really? Red Bull has a cola? We can go out of breakfast 2 hours later, want food again. I can't eat that much. Don't do it then. Then they're eating for sport, not for desire, not because they need to eat. Oh, I got some friends. Cool. I've had some bad friends in the past. We've all had some bad friends. E.g., what you got to do is identify them and cut anchor, because you're not obligated to them. I currently don't have any. I love Filipino food. Good for you. Lumpia. Chicken adobo. Is it adobo or adobe? Remember I had a cooking class in high school when we made chicken adobo, I think it is. I could be saying it wrong. Delicious. Eric's on deck. Eric is always on deck. Circle. I like the pineapple flavored aloe water. Here we go. This turned into a survey of what do you drink? Oh my God. Hires vodka root beer. Wow. I know Hires root beer was an old school root beer. I love pineapple too. The pineapple here is excellent. fresh pineapple. I like mango. We have a mango sticky rice. That's actually a guilty pleasure because it's coconut, like thick coconut milk over a sticky rice with mango. Eat that like a dog. You just don't get full. Hardly eat much fruit. I'm fussy over fruit salad. Why would they hold that message? I hardly eat much fruit. I'm fussy over fruit and salad. They held that message for review. Pineapple Crush. Actually, when I was a kid, how do we get into this soda? Dr. Pepper when I was a kid. That was my sister's favorite too. I haven't seen that in years. Yeah, I don't drink all these drinks. All right, folks, I got about 5 minutes. Any closing questions or any comments on good drinks? Everyone says it's best on pizza. It's okay. I mean, that's a guilty pleasure, I suppose. I still love pizza. That would be. I don't even think of it as junk food, but it is, right? Pizza is. It's not technically, I guess, good for you. I love pizza though. I'll still have pizza. Caddis cooler? I don't know what that is. Maybe cactus cooler? Dylan, I got some Tasmanian apple juice in my fridge right now with a little bit. It's Tasmania with oh man. Only in California they have that soda. Okay. We just got it. Anyone that's on deck right now, do you have any breakup or relationship question? You know, it's good that Mexican. Oh, that's good. Not G Money. We're kindred spirits. Jarritos soda. And they do have a soda water that's mineral water. My dad loves that stuff. We used to go when we used to go hunting at the general stores and places like that. They always had that. I've had that before. That's sweet soda, man. A&Ws are here everywhere. Wow. Okay, we don't have a lot of those. Sorry, I'm not a spelling bee. Don't even worry about it. I'm not the grammar police or spelling police. If I can't read it. My guilty is when I'm staying with my grandparents, I sometimes get myself a family of crispy and eat them all in one night. I think before, two of the guilty pleasures food-wise, I used to love cereal, even as an adult, because it's easy to clean up too. In my 20s, I used to like cereal and Ben and Jerry's ice cream. But isn't it now everyone's going to go out after this live stream and associate junk food? That's funny. Rob, I'm going to have to bail out. I got some things to do today, actually. I just want to make sure that I'm touching base once a day. So I've actually had to push something else back. See, EG's on the no soda kick. Thanks for the likes, folks. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for coming on. And thanks for the discussion on friends. And hopefully you take some inventory of your friends right now. That's what I mean. And you're going to be eating your junk food going, oh, Mac, put me up on this. Yeah, that's true, buddy. That's true. I appreciate it. I'm just making an effort. I had a situation where like last month, I was like, all right, I want to do a stream every day, but my schedule staggered. So, you know, a lot of you guys have work maybe like 9 to 5. I'm just giving an example, or 8 to 3. So you can kind of put things around that. But with some of the classes I have and then live coachings, it's like if I commit to doing it at the same time, I always am like, oh, I can't do it today because of this. So I said, you know what? Fuck that. No excuses. What I'm going to do is if I have a free moment or a free hour, I'm going to do it in that time. This seems to be one of the better time frames, but and now I enjoy it so much. I'm just making an effort, and so we'll see where it leads. But I want to make sure I got my one in today. Hey, coach, looking for forward to next month. You got that trip plan, Ozzy? You were giving a seminar, Rob? Wow, dude. No worries, man. This is how the live streams always end. What I like doing now, and I think this is good for you guys, and it's good for someone that, watches the show later on, is I'll start with a topic and really go into it for 15, 20 minutes. And then that's useful for people outside of the live stream. No, I probably won't be on in a few hours. I got some things to do today. I got other things to do today, actually. I'm going to be busy all day, and I'm going to close it out with some yoga. I might be on later on tonight, which would be morning for you guys. So if I have the juice, if I have the Hugo. It's storm there. That's not good for the horsers. Oh, wow. For how long are you going to come for, Ozzy? A month or? Time Eastern would be later on. You know what? I'm not sure, Rob. Like I said, I can't give you a definitive time or a definitive. I'm happy though that you would. Oh, good for you, Ozzy. At least 30 days is good. Thanks, EG. I appreciate it. Good for you, Ozzy. All right, folks. It's curtains. It's time to say goodbye. I appreciate you. Take it easy. Have a good evening for most of you.